And hello again. I'm back with number 2 on my shocking list of the top 5 ways that I've seen people fail at their permaculture and homesteading dreams. Now remember, this one comes from me, a permaculture designer who works in the field and consults and teaches permaculture design certificate courses at times. And number 2 on my list is teaching permaculture design certificate courses. Or, and I mean online, and farming courses online, and gardening and profitable gardening, and all of those kinds of green business type courses online. Again, just my experience over 20 years in the movement, 23 years in the movement now, is that I almost never see it actually work. And that's because it was never intended to be like the way that people made a living. It was intended to be a community organizing and co-investment tool. It was a way that you could get together with a group of people in your community, or maybe a set of peers in some cases, and get together on the same ideas, discuss things, learn together, and come up with opportunities for co-investment and collaboration. A great PDC is truly life-changing and transformative for the information you get, but more importantly for the relationships and connections that you build. But the truth is, I've seen a lot of people over the 20 years who've tried to do that as their main income, and there are a few people who got in at the right time and were able to market themselves in smart ways, and they do. They have made a living doing it. But as the market grew and more people were trying to compete in it, it became harder and harder to actually make that work. And that's fine, because it's not intended for that. It's a community organizing tool, and they're great, and you should do one. And you should, if you've done a PDC, you should teach one. You should do community organizing, get together, build a group of people that you want to do a PDC with, and do a PDC. Make some money off of it so that you are obtaining a yield, and then also get people to co-invest together. It's a great thing to do. Okay. But doing it, expecting to be able to make a living or millions of dollars off of online PDCs, in my opinion, is not necessarily realistic. So, and part of the reason why is look at the models where it's actually worked. Because yes, there are some people who actually went out and had very little experience, maybe just like a couple years of experience, and didn't even really have much in the way of gardens or consulting experience. And they started a massive online PDC, and they literally made like $1 million or more off of their very first PDC online with no experience. This is a reality. This has happened, and you probably, if you followed this stuff, you've probably heard these examples. The problem is that most of the people who've gotten rich off PDCs were already famous. The capital that makes that kind of stuff work is fame. Now, these people who weren't famous who did it, there's a little bit of a sleight of hand there, because they had relationships with people and organizations that had a lot of fame and clout. And those people actually had a real strong personal interest in making sure that those programs were super successful. Because look, if I'm trying to sell this product where I'm saying, hey, look, you can make $1 million teaching PDCs, and there aren't any actual people who are my students who have made $1 million selling PDCs, then there's not a lot of evidence that what I'm telling you is true. But if I can point to this guy and say, hey, look, he had no experience, no social media clout, nothing like that. He did a PDC, and look, he made $1 million doing it. Then anybody can make $1 million doing it. So there's a little bit of a sleight of hand there. And look, if you're already famous, great. Then you can probably make $1 million doing a PDC. But you can also probably make $1 million selling your underpants to people, because that's what fame does. It's weird. I don't know how to tell you to become famous. I can't replicate that. I don't know how to do it. It's about kind of luck that we can't even recreate. And the stars have to be in alignment. And you have to have a great smile and all sorts of stuff that I can't really tell you how to do. So I can't really advise you that you're going to make $1 million if you selling PDCs online, if you take my PDC whenever I offer one next. But I can tell you that we'll have a great time, we'll learn a lot, and we'll learn and figure out some ways to co-invest together. And then you should go and you should do that too with other people, and it will be rewarding, and you can obtain a good yield for doing it. So, to recap, PDCs, awesome, do them. Trying to make your full-time main livelihood thing, I don't recommend it, and I see a lot of people who count on that actually fail. So, next up we'll have number one, the number one worst way that I see people try to fund their permaculture and homesteading dreams, and it almost always leads to disaster. All right, stay tuned.